Oh, hey everybody, Chris Martinson here, Peak Prosperity, with your Friday, March 10th weekly update. Now, I was just reading the Wall Street Journal. This is Thursday, March 9th, and I'm going to help them out editorially because they have this front page below the fold article that says, retirees squeezed by low rates. That's passive. Let's make this active. Let's put this in the active voice. Retirees get squeezed by the Federal Reserve. That's more active because now we know who's responsible for this thing, right? Because let's be clear, the retirees in this story, which are also pensioners, endowments, other people, they're not squeezed by low rates. They're being squeezed by the Federal Reserve. Now, this is something I've been talking about in a three-part series at the site. We started with the bubbles, all the bubbles that we've got. The Fed blew a bubble in 95, it blew up in 2000, they blew another one, and that blew up in 2007-8, and then they were blowing another one. Just massive bubbles. So understanding that's part one. Part two is the wealth transfer that's going to happen as a consequence of that. And then today, this Friday, March 10th, we have a new two-parter coming out by me, where we're talking about how this all plays out, how these bubbles burst, how the wealth gets transferred. This is called the Ka-Poom theory, popularized by Eric Jansen of iTulip, who came up with the theory. And it goes like this. First, you inflate a bubble, and then it bursts. The Ka is the implosion that happens, and then the response creates the Poom. The response is all this printing by the Federal Reserve, which creates low rates that hurt savers. And Wall Street Journal, again, free editorial lesson for you here. Little call-out box on part two of your story here on page A2 says, the drop in rates since the crisis cost U.S. savers almost $1 trillion in lost income. Do a little gumshoe work. What do you mean lost? Like when I lose my keys, I can find them because they went somewhere. You make it sound like it just got lost, like, I don't know, like it just vaporized, went into another dimension, passed through a membrane into an alternate reality, right? It wasn't lost, it was transferred. So critical that you understand this process. The Federal Reserve is picking winners and losers. The losers is the 99% in this story. The winners, not just the 1%, but the 0.1%. Remember, 8 people now have as much wealth as the bottom half of the world combined. It's a dangerous situation. It's wildly unstable. And it wasn't, the crisis cost U.S. savers in lost savings. That's not what happened. The Federal Reserve took $1 trillion away from savers and gave it to somebody else. Now, I know these are your advertisers, Wall Street Journal, and these are the people who you like to have access to because they're all the big hot shots on Wall Street. But you really should be writing this with some truth, right? We're done with this passive, obfuscating sort of a thing here. Let's call it what it is. So with that, it's been a wild week. We've seen the markets go up. We have crazy weather here still in New England. We're going to have 4 nights in a row of single-digit weather. And the craziness continues on. So if you want to know what to do about this craziness and where you can begin to start addressing this in your own life, remember, we've got a seminar coming up at Rowe, Massachusetts, April 6th to 9th. We're going to be going through all 8 forms of capital, and it's a great time. We have a few spaces left. So if you're interested, come to peakprosperity.com, check out our links that will get you to Rowe, or go to rowcenter.org. Look for Peak Prosperity in there. You'll see us April 6th to 9th. Love to see you there. With that, I'm Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity. See you next week.